Welcome back to the Tech Coach Corner YouTube series presented by Dyknow. I'm Tiara Lustig, your host, and today I will be talking with Evan Robb about innovation and what makes innovation possible and accessible to teachers from a leadership perspective. Evan is a principal and he's really inspiring to talk to, so it's a great conversation. Before we jump in, as always, don't forget to subscribe to Dyknow on YouTube and go ahead and follow us on all of our social media. We have some exciting new things coming out in the next couple of weeks that you won't want to miss out on. So don't forget to subscribe and follow us and engage with us. Let us know what's important to you right now. We want to hear from all of you. So that's all I have to plug today. We'll have some exciting announcements in the coming weeks, but other than that, let's jump into the episode. Welcome back to Tech Coach Corner, everyone. I'm Tiara Lustig, your host, and today I'm joined by Evan Robb. Evan, would you mind giving a brief introduction to yourself before we get started?
Yeah, thanks for having me here today. Really excited to have a conversation. My name is Evan Robb. I'm a middle school principal in Northern Virginia. I have written a couple books along the way, and 4 books to be specific, and you can look those up on Amazon. I've also had an opportunity to speak to educators around the country about leadership and bringing some intentionality into the work that we do.
Wonderful. Well, I am excited to have you here today on Tech Coach Corner. One thing you've talked a lot about as a leader is bringing innovation into leadership and kind of getting other leaders to follow that and be brave enough to be innovators and take risks. Could you talk a little bit about maybe the importance of innovation as a leader and how people can get started innovating if they're a little uncomfortable with doing that?
Yeah, that's a great question. First I think we have to look at what does innovation mean? And I try to make it really simple, and it's simply bringing something new to something that may have been, potentially in new and novel ways. And innovation is how we grow. So if you think about education, classrooms that are incredibly traditional, that are repetitive, doing the same thing over and over again, are not going to be innovative classrooms. But we want to bring innovation into classrooms. And so the question to think about, if you're in a leadership capacity, is what role can you have to foster innovation in a classroom, or what role can you have to hinder it? Whether that means you're hindering it through intentionality, like using words that are really blocking that, or your actions are counter to bringing innovation into a classroom. So I always ask people in leadership positions to do some self-reflection and figure out who you are and what you believe in, because it never works if you're not genuine. But if you're someone who believes in bringing innovation into the workplace, then what are you doing as a leader to model that and to make sure that your words are consistent with that also? And that's kind of important, because sometimes in leadership there can be a gap between what we say and what we do, and that's not good. It looks disingenuous. But when the leader models innovation, when the leader speaks about innovation, it increases the likelihood that innovation can happen within a classroom or within a business, all across the business. Then it comes down to other factors that are needed for innovative environments, such as relationships and trust. Because when people take chances to be innovative with their work, it's not always going to be successful. And so when people meet failure, just as when a child meets failure, the leader has some different ways to react to that failure. If the leader makes the person feel a little less than because they tried something and it wasn't successful, they're not going to try it anymore. But however, if the leader creates an environment where it's encouraged to try different things, and it's okay for them not to always be successful, but an understanding that that's the pathway to coming up with new and better ways of doing things, then it starts happening more and more across an organization. Now, I've been in a lot of schools, and I'm sure you've been in businesses, along your career, and you'll certainly see innovation happening in businesses and in schools. But for it to happen in a powerful way, it has to happen across the organization. If the leader is not speaking and modeling innovation, it'll happen in pockets. But you want to focus on bringing this collective kind of mindset of innovation into an organization, and that has an awful lot to do with the leader. The leader can bring that in, or the leader, of course, can hinder that happening within an organization.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it all starts from the top, and it's that perfect marriage of encouraging innovation and encouraging risk taking and having people feel comfortable enough to take those risks and not have any sort of thing that'll happen if they fail at that risk that they take.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And it gets a little more complicated in terms of if the goal of the organization, if the culture is to be very innovative, to take more risks, to be a little bit more daring with practices, then the organization should seek out bringing in people to the organization who have consistent beliefs with that sort of philosophy. Because not everyone wants to bring that into their workplace, and that's perfectly fine. But the more that an organization has an understanding of who they are and what they are, they can focus on bringing in people who are aligned to that culture, aligned to that vision and mission, and then that in turn increases the likelihood that it'll continue to happen across the school or organization.
Definitely. What I'm hearing, and I think what we've heard in a ton of our conversations, is a lot of these, cultures of risk taking or innovation require a culture shift across the organization, not just an initiative to say we're going to be innovative or we're going to take risks.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I'm going to expand on that for 1 second, because you really kind of hit the nail on the head there. You can't bring innovation into an organization or into a school by having an innovation day. So like, this is the day that we're all going to be innovative, but it doesn't really fit into the overall culture of the organization. Culture is what you do and practice day in and day out, and that's how you create change in an organization. Climate is impacted by one thing. So I'll give you the simple education example. You may recall this from when you were a kid, but I know when I was a kid, my elementary principal used to do these book promotions, and they would say, okay, if the building checks out 100 books from the library in the month of October, we're going to bring in a pig, and the principal is going to kiss the pig. The principal kisses the pig, the kids hit their goal. Everyone's incredibly excited for that particular day. It impacts the climate of the building, but it doesn't impact the culture. For it to impact the culture, it would have to be something that was repeated day in and day out. And of course, I'm going along with the joke of my conversation. There may be some principals who want to kiss a pig once in a while, but I don't know that there are too many that want to kiss a pig all the time. So you want to focus on the things that are important to your organization that you repetitively practice over time. You practice through your actions and you repeat through your words.
I think that's great, and a great place for people to start and to acknowledge that before maybe implementing a culture of innovation in their organization. So Evan, I think those tips are great. Hopefully people can begin being innovative and taking risks, starting from the leadership level. Where can people find you, Evan, if they want to learn more from you and engage with you?
Thank you very much. If someone's into social media, I am found as Robb Principal on Twitter. And also, if you search my name on Facebook or LinkedIn, you can find me there also. I've written some books, so if you look at my name on Amazon.com, you can find me there. And if you haven't checked out my TEDx talk, 2 Ways to Get into a Swimming Pool, I encourage you to check that out also. Thank you very much.
Of course, and we will link all of that below. I know we found you through your TED Talk, and it's a great TED Talk, so encourage everyone to go watch it. Thank you so much, Evan, for being with us today.
Thank you.